Welcome to our deep dive today. I want you to just take a second, picture this with me. A beautiful, crisp sunrise breaking over a peaceful, quiet village. The light is just barely starting to touch the rooftops, signaling the start of a brand new day. Today, we're going to embark on an amazing journey through that exact village, from dawn until dusk. Along the way, we'll be exploring 5 deeply heartwarming, cinematic stories rooted in Islamic tradition. And these aren't just nice stories. They're actual blueprints for living a life of character that are incredibly relevant to our day-to-day lives.
So, looking at this quote, small daily actions shape our spirituality, it really hits the nail on the head and sets the foundation for our entire journey today. Often, we kind of think that being a good person or achieving spiritual greatness requires massive, world-changing events, right? But the source material we're looking at today reveals something completely different. It shows us how the smallest, everyday acts of goodness, things you and I can literally do before breakfast.
Section 1. Morning. The reward of telling the truth. Our journey starts right at dawn, setting the perfect tone for everything that follows.
Okay, imagine the scene. A young kid is walking home from school and stumbles upon a wallet, just lying there on the path. And it's not empty, it is packed with cash. Now, immediately there's a conflict. Our source notes that his friends gather around and tell him to do the easy thing. Hey, just keep it. And honestly, it's a huge temptation. No one else is around, he could walk away richer, and nobody would ever know the difference.
Now, what's really interesting here is that instead of caving to his friends, the boy pivots. He actually stops and remembers the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, about honesty and being trustworthy. He actively chooses his character over convenience. He manages to track down the owner of the wallet, who turns out to be an elderly man, and returns the money completely untouched. In return, that grateful elder offers him an incredibly heartfelt, joyful prayer. The boy didn't keep the cash, but he walked away with something way more valuable, a blessing.
Which brings us to this really beautiful hadith to anchor our morning story. Truthfulness leads to paradise, as recorded in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. The key takeaway here is crystal clear. Truth and trustworthiness are absolutely beloved in the eyes of Allah. It's that exact kind of honesty, practiced in those quiet moments when literally no one is watching, that truly elevates a person.
Moving on to Section 2. Midday, the magical power of a smile. As the morning fades into a bright, bustling afternoon, we head into a schoolyard.
Here we find a young, less fortunate boy spending his entire day just feeling deeply sad and totally isolated. He's sitting all by himself, carrying this heavy, silent burden that no one else even seems to notice. It's a heartbreaking struggle, isn't it? The feeling of being entirely invisible in a crowded room, something I'm sure a lot of us have seen or maybe even felt ourselves.
But then, the whole vibe shifts. A friend walks up to this lonely boy, looks at him, flashes a warm smile, and simply says, "May Allah keep you well." That's it. It's a completely costless action. It didn't cost a dime or take hours of effort, but that one simple, warm greeting instantly flips the lonely boy's entire day around. His sadness just lifts, all because someone finally saw him and offered a bit of warmth.
So the crucial point is captured perfectly in this hadith from Jami al-Tirmidhi. Smiling in your brother's face is charity. Our source teaches us that you really don't need a heavy wallet to be charitable. Even a simple, genuine smile is considered an act of beautiful worship. It's a form of giving that literally heals emotional wounds and brings light to someone's dark day.
Next up, Section 3. Afternoon. Heaven under mother's feet. We're stepping out of that bright midday sun and into the quiet serenity of a village home for a story focused on family and respect.
So picture a boy glued to his phone, a distraction we can all relate to, right? But look at this sequence of events. Step 1, he actually puts the device down. He unplugs from the digital world because he notices his mother isn't feeling well. Step 2, he sits right by her side, brings her water, gives her medicine, and just genuinely cares for her. And Step 3, this selfless little act leads to his mother offering a deeply heartfelt prayer for him. It's such a powerful shift from self-absorption to compassionate care.
And the motivation behind that is beautifully summed up in this profound hadith from Sunan an-Nasai. Paradise is under the feet of mothers. Our source material highlights this to remind us that selflessly serving your mother isn't just a nice, polite thing to do, it's literally described as a direct path to paradise. Definitely a wake-up call to pause our busy lives and honor the parents who cared for us. Wouldn't you agree?
Let's move to Section 4. Evening. Protecting oneself from backbiting. As the afternoon turns to evening and the shadows get a bit longer, friends gather to relax, but the conversation unfortunately takes a negative turn.
In this gathering, we're shown two very different paths. On one side, two friends start gossiping, picking apart the flaws of a third friend who isn't even there to defend himself. We all know it's a super easy trap to fall into. But then, a third friend jumps in and offers this brilliant, restorative alternative. He basically says, hey, instead of talking about his faults, let's just pray for him in his absence. And boom, that simple intervention instantly shuts down the destructive gossip and gets things back on track.
The real severity of that kind of gossip is illustrated by this striking verse from the Quran, chapter 49, verse 12. Backbiting is like eating the flesh of a dead brother. It's intense imagery for sure, but when the friends hear the reminder, they quickly realize their mistake. The lesson is huge here. Protecting human honor, especially when a person is entirely absent, is an absolute duty. We literally have to be the guardians of each other's reputations.
Finally, we arrive at section 5. Nightfall, the huge status of small charity. The sky is darkening, a peaceful hush is falling over the village, and we get to our last, deeply touching story about a little girl and her school tiffin, or lunchbox.
So a little girl spots a hungry child. She really wants to help, but she hesitates. She's looking down at her tiny portion of food and experiences this incredibly relatable moment of internal doubt. She's thinking, what can this tiny amount really do? Is it even worth giving? It's that classic feeling where the scale of the world's problems just makes our own small contributions feel completely meaningless.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core message of our deep dive today. Despite all her doubts, she pushes past the hesitation and shares half of her tiffin anyway. The source material emphasizes a beautiful point. Sincerity matters so much more than size. She didn't have a massive feast to offer, but she gave what she had with a completely open heart. And spiritually speaking, God accepts even the tiniest charity when it's given with pure, absolute sincerity.
We anchored this final evening story with an incredibly powerful hadith from Sahih Bukhari. Save yourself from hellfire even with half a date. I mean, just think about that imagery. Half a date is basically nothing in terms of volume or cost. Yet, this teaches us that small, sincere acts of charity carry enormous spiritual weight and provide ultimate protection. You absolutely do not have to be wealthy to be incredibly generous.
Section 6. Our Everyday Lessons. As the stars finally come out in the night sky, it's the perfect time to reflect on this village we've just walked through from dawn to dusk. We've witnessed the quiet, beautiful moments that truly define human character. Let's do a quick recap of the 5 core lessons we extracted today. Number 1, honesty is beloved, even when hiding the truth feels way easier. 2, a simple smile is literally an act of worship and can cure a lonely heart. 3, serving your mother is a direct pathway to paradise. 4, protecting others' honor by avoiding gossip is a sacred duty. And 5, small charity given with a big heart matters immensely. These aren't just one-off events. They compound into a lifetime of incredible goodness.
Which brings us to the absolute most important part of our exploration today, you. Which of these small acts are you going to bring into your life tomorrow? We've seen that you don't need a grand stage to do great things. Your everyday life is the stage. So is it going to be a smile to a stranger, or maybe putting the phone down for your family? I challenge you to pick just one of these timeless moral lessons and actively apply it when the sun comes up tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey, and I'll catch you in the next one.